All right.
That's my answer to all those people who are like, I don't like blazing hot. Do you like negative 55? I'll take blazing hot. I thought so. Thank you. It's the ones who go, that negative 55 isn't so bad. And I'm like, you people are crazy.
Negative 55 is bullshit. Are you crazy?
It will kill you. It will literally kill you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a thing they call hypothermia.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's no way to die, man. That's no way to die. I'm sorry. I don't want to die like that. I don't want to die knowing I'm freezing. That's the other fear is dying underwater. I don't want to die underwater either. I mean, I just...
Then move away from Lake Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah. Good thing you knew. Good thing you live near a lake.
Oh yeah, well, but I mean, I'm not that near a lake, but but you're right. I am near a lake, but I'm not that near a lake. Not like those people who live there on Lakeshore Drive, and they just watch the stuff going in and out, and then you're thinking, I'm in a building.
Yep.
The waves are coming over the edge. One of these days, they're going to go across, and it has happened where the water has gone across Lakeshore Drive, and it's going to undo the foundation of one of those buildings, and those buildings, I'm so afraid they're going to topple. But who knows? But it's just scary,
That's like me sitting there saying, I'm afraid of a decoupling train that's going to kill me. Oh, wait, I live across the street from a railroad station.
So you get it, you get it,
But I'm not, so I'm really not worried about it, because what are the odds of that? Well, I shouldn't say that out loud.
Well, you did have a fire not far from you last time, a while ago there.
Yeah, that was something. I'm like, why is there? Oh, that's on fire. Ooh,
the crane's on fire. Yeah, sure.
And we're like, do you need to leave? Are you all right?
Not. Apparently not, but I've got front row seat for the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. You're busy. Watching
the funny part is, if we had been live streaming, that would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome, because it would have been like, there's a train, it's on fire, and this is what's going on. And people it might have gone viral, because we'd have been like, okay.
That would have been really cool. We gotta actually work towards that, in somewhere in the near future.
No video.
No video. We don't need video. But,
no. We'll always be the faces of radio, folks. Nobody wants to look at...
You mug on Instagram every other day.
Yeah.
Well, I put my mug on Instagram every other day is because, it's a creative moment, and I happen to relish being in the moment,
I like relish.
Yeah, exactly. I like relish and mustard and hot dogs.
It's the only thing that looks nuclear green that I'll eat.
I just had a salad with dinner tonight. It was a good salad.
Well, I had a salad too. Had romaine lettuce and bits of Monterey Jack cheese, and
that's not a salad.
You put
I had more.
If it has lettuce, it's a salad.
Okay.
Well, it's a salad. to me, it's a salad. It had.
So, like a burger is like salad. If you put lettuce on it, it's a salad.
Well, no, that's a hamburger.
It's like a beef sandwich salad.
Yeah, that's a.
If you don't have the meat and you have just the lettuce and tomatoes, then that's a salad sandwich.
I'm recording this.
Are you? Good.
Yes.
That's good. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a salad sandwich, man.
Okay. By the way, welcome to Squares of the Roundtable podcast. We're apparently debating salad today.
It came from how I not want to die to how the composition of a salad.
Yep. I'm Jeff Stein. With me is Mike Boyle.
Yo.
Along with Ivan Rivera. By the way, Ivan, I'd like to thank you. I never, ever would say Mike Edwin until you kept saying it out loud. And now I have to stop myself every freaking time. And I didn't have that problem until you started doing it. And now I have to catch myself every time.
Once again, it's Ivan's fault.
Of course. It's always my fault. I'm always fucking up. That's just me, man.
That was never in my mindset until you started doing it. And then I'm like, all of a sudden it's like, and Mike, boy, that's, yeah.
Mike Boyle, yeah.
I'm like, Ivan! I didn't have that in my mind. You just kept
Well,
putting it there.
we can always go Meb and just be done with it.
Meb. God.
That's my initials I put on my Galaga game when I get the high score.
Oh.
Yeah, Meb.
Meb.
That one is playing Galaga.
Yep.
What is your middle name, Jeff? What?
Never mind.
Yeah.
What is your middle name, Jeff?
I technically don't have one.
Nice.
No?
I have a middle
you had it
initial.
surgically removed by a doctor?
Well, they never on the birth certificate gave me an actual middle name. It just has a middle initial.
Okay.
Which is L. I know what it technically stands for, but it's not officially on the birth certificate, so I basically claim anything.
So JLS. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That sounds like radio call letters. WJLS. All sports all the time.
Yeah.
Double overtime.
And Ivan is I knew this years ago, but I keep asking every 10 years.
What?
What is Ivan's middle name?
It's Antonio.
Antonio.
So Ivan Antonio Rivera. And then we all have our surnames because being Hispanic, we always add them.
I'm always worried about talking about middle names.
Why?
Because really in reality there's only really two reasons why people talk about middle names.
And that is?
You're either President of the United States or you're a serial killer.
Well, that or the fact that, it's the thing that they have on your paperwork when ICE comes and knocks on your door asking for it.
Right, something like that. Yeah, exactly. It's like there's not any good reason why anyone ever uses your middle name. Rarely. I mean, once in a while there is, but it's not normally.
Well, Mike used his middle name on broadcasting for a few years.
It's my secret identity.
Your secret identity.
To protect the ones I care about.
Okay.
Why is it in movies that nobody actually does that?
What?
Protects the secret identity from the ones that everyone cares about.
You have the women, and they think that they share their secret identity with you. Thinks it strengthens the relationship.
Well, no, I'm not even thinking about the women. It's not even like the women. Like, even in the Batman movie, like the original Batman movies, it's like everybody knows it's Bruce Wayne. How come? Why?
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard not to know that, when one person's there and then the other person not being there, it's really not hard to figure out, you know?
I mean, just like it's like I'm watching like the commercials for Spider-Man Homecoming that's coming out, and I'm like, how many more?
Far from home.
Like they've already given away like, okay, so Mysterio knows his secret identity, Nick Fury knows his secret identity, now MJ knows his secret identity.
I think they're trying to break down the wall of the secret identity and just figure, okay, I don't think having a secret identity is not such a big deal anymore.
And yet that's all. It's like, but okay, yeah,
it still behooves you now, don't it?
It's
yeah.
Like, then why did you?
Then why did you do that? Right?
It's like there's this source material, and it's like how many years it took until like it took decades until like they were like, okay, we'll let Mary Jane know that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. In the movies, it takes 2 hours.
Well, I guess it's just a thing where, all right, we're trying to break tradition maybe, or we're trying to break precedent from the people who have read the comic books.
Precedent. We're not going to break any precedents.
Well, that's not true.
I know one thing I'd like to break, but that's another story.
I was going to say that we're not going to talk about that on this show.
Precedent.
No.
Ivan.
What?
Never mind.
So, anyway. So,
Ivan, how you been, my man?
Me? Well,
no, the other Ivan.
The other Ivan that's Marley. He's hanging out on the counter eating his food. But, as far as me is concerned, it's been a very, breakneck week last week. I did several gigs back to back to back in between packing up my.
So that would be 3 nights in a row.
Oh yeah. Well, I did the Sweet Soulful, and then I did Coles. Then I did Electric Jungle.
You went to a department store?
We covered this. It's not that Coles.
Yeah, but
not that Coles. Coles.
Audiences change all the time.
Okay, Coles. Coles. Yeah, that's my new nighttime needle drop thing that I do on Monday night from 10 to 2 over at Coles, 2338 Milwaukee. If you happen to be there third Monday of the month, that's where I'm hanging out at.
In Chicago.
Illinois.
Because there could be a Milwaukee
in the heart of Logan Square.
Because there could be a Milwaukee street in I don't know, Iowa, and they'll only be like, hey!
I think that there's a Milwaukee, just like I think there's a Springfield. It's either county or state or street in every state of the union.
State? There is no state.
Well, Springfield, Illinois, Milwaukee,
that's a
Wisconsin.
City.
So you just been spinning your records crazy for 2 weeks, my man. Is that it?
Yeah, I have. I mean, and between that and packing up the apartment, because I have the guys going through here doing their groovy thing. Finally, they got in here and started doing their groovy thing, but not without
what doing the groovy thing. Could you please elaborate?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll elaborate. I had and I'm going to give the shameless plug.
Are you filming a porno or something?
Right way exterminators finally made their way through here after months of situation being what it is. They finally got through here, started spraying our side of the building finally. And, but in order for them to do that, I had to have certain things taken care of. And the certain things include 22 totes of records. That's right, 22 totes of records. And so my front room right now is an island of totes with other ephemeras sitting on top of those totes, so that way they could get access to all the corners of the apartment, so they could spray everything down to make sure that they get every little critter out of this situation. And of course they did that to the apartment across from me, above from me, beneath me, and down on the floor beneath them. So it's been a nightmare. But the nightmare, I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, so it's cool. And, of course, also drove me more to go with Julie to check out the Lathrop property, which is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gentlemen. Gorgeous, with a capital G. I'm talking...
You're moving in with gorgeous gentlemen?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes, I'm moving in with gorgeous gentlemen because I have pride in my veins. That's right. I'm got a non-binary flag on my wall along with my gay flag and everything else. Yeah, but
do you have joy in your heart?
Oh, no.
What? Yes, I have joy in my heart. Mm-hmm. Always got joy in my heart. Come on.
Where is it?
I got the joy down in my heart. Where? Yeah, down in my heart. Yeah. Where? Right, down in my heart. Right, the joy down in my heart. Hey, down in my heart. Don't you stay? Ah!
Well, that would be the gorgeous gentleman behind him doing the dance number, Mike.
Yeah, you know, Robin Hood. Yeah, Men in Tights. Yes.
Robin Williams was in Men in Tights.
What?
No, he was not. No, I think
he was not in Men in Tights.
Well.
No, those gorgeous gentlemen were men.
So you're looking to move then?
Is that what we're getting? Is
that what we're talking about? This other building looks nice. You're saying
it's beautiful.
Okay,
it's beautiful. I mean, we have a river that It has a river walk, a dog
A river
park.
runs through it.
Well, not run through it, but, it runs near it underneath the bridge. It's part of the 606 path that they've constructed as of recent years.
All right, cool.
And, we've got the 2 acres of park in the middle of the place, and, you get out there and hang out and play ball and picnic and everything like that. It's got a boat launch. It has a dog park. It has a parking, which is really a big one, because the parking around here has gotten fucking ridiculous.
Well, yeah, Logan Square's a hot location now.
Well, yeah, and of course it's been gentrified times 10 now around here. I mean, with the changes, the buildings, and I don't understand why we need so many fucking condos. Why?
People got to live,
people
Ivan.
Will buy them.
Yeah, but that's a lot of condos for square mile,
people
man.
People got to live, man.
But that's a lot of condos. Lots and lots of condos. More condos than I want to look at.
They can't all be record stores, Ivan.
Yes. And in fairness, there were a couple times where even you sat there and were like, I'm going to walk you to your car on the way out of my apartment just to be safe. And I'm like, I thought you said it was safe around here. You're like, it is. Why you have to walk me to my car, Ivan?
Because it's just courtesy to walk your friends to the car.
Oh, okay. Not in most cases.
What? You don't walk your friends to the car. You don't stop your car in front of the house to drop off somebody and watch them go in before you leave.
That's called a date.
That's called being gallant. That's called having manners. That's called
making sure I didn't get shanked.
Yeah, well, you know what? You have this thing in your head, Jeff, that everybody down here carries a gun and they all want to shoot each other at random. No,
I didn't think that at all until you said I have to watch.
No, but
am I gonna be safe?
But so anyway,
you've just been busy spinning records and putting your records in totes.
And apparently dealing with
looking for new places to live. Yeah.
Okay.
And making for happy. No, critters are fucked up. All right. When you turn on the lights and the wallpaper changes, no, that's fucked up.
Wow. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's the shit. Okay. When you turn on the fucking lights and the wallpaper changes. Okay, when you go to the bathroom and the roaches are in there looking up at you and say, "Come in, the water's fine."
Don't you have a cat?
Yes, I have a cat.
Does the
what
cat
does it do?
defend you or
yes,
or slay any of these beasts?
Well, let me see. The cat lovingly goes ahead and takes the water beetles and brings it to my feet and say, "Hey, Ivan, look what I just caught. Aren't you proud of me? I love you." I'm like, the fucking legs are still moving. Shit.
Apparently you didn't train your cat to kill things. Got it.
He's not an outdoor cat. If he was an outdoor cat and he went outside, I'm sure he'll probably get his ass kicked by the cat-sized mountain rats that are out there. Oh, interesting story. Speaking of rats, we have a dry cleaner next door, and me and Julie were outside one night, just kind of sitting there and eating a snack, and we're looking through the window, and guess what? Here is this rat. I mean, the size of a cat, running around back and forth in the dry cleaning place, going back and forth in the front windows, just as you please, looking up. Hi, how you doing? Turn off the freaking lights, okay? I'm trying to find food around here. And then, just going around, just doing this groovy thing. And I'm thinking, I ain't never, ever, 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 ever going to put my clothes in that dry cleaners. Nor will I eat at the Subway once it opens again. Because it's much too close to home. No!
Wait, stop.
What?
The subway, once it opens again, gee, I wonder why it was closed.
Well, it was closed because, not to get into too much into that because it has to do with the ethnic couple that owned it.
Well, maybe that
was it shut down for health reasons.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, it was not shut. No. It wasn't shut down for health reasons. It was shut down because of the fact that the wife didn't want to work because the husband kept slave driving her. That's what I think would happen there. Because every time we went in there,
no, man, this is America. We're innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Well, when you walk into the subway, and Julie can attest this too. You walked in there, and it was just like, "Hey, I would like to have such and such a sandwich." Oh, well, we don't have that, and we don't have that, but you can have this. So there was always like stuff. The menu was never complete any time that you went in there. You always had to sidestep. Okay, the bathroom looked like somebody decided to like sit there and crack one off, and the toilet's like half done. And it was a literal shit show in that place. Then of course the assortment of people they had working in there. Hey there, baby, what do you want on that there sandwich?
Well, it's hard to find people in the food industry.
Yeah, we're not. Yes, the messages here are. Well, anyway.
I'm sorry that your subway closed.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, different strokes to rule the world. I get it, but you kind of look and you think, do I really want this person putting their hands on my food, especially without gloves?
Well, that would be your first problem.
They always got the little disposable plastic gloves on.
Yeah, and they're
handling
supposed
the food.
to have those on.
Yeah, they should.
But they didn't, so that's the health reasons then. Okay. That explains a lot.
Yeah, this is the part where, the exception would be if I saw them physically wash their hands. Now, other than that, if they don't have the little gloves on, I'm not buying no sandwich from you. The sandwich,
okay.
Take it back to the bag.
And then, of course, you go in like every few weeks, they're like a different person, working behind the counter. Yo, man, what do you want on that sandwich? The aspiring, hip hop artist, or the woman who just, or the woman who has 1,000,001 tattoos and everything and fingernails, as long as God knows what.
We're not generalizing at all.
Or you got the person who kind of looks
here to arrest some more subway employees. I can hear the.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, put it this way, or the guy who blankly looks at you with a vacant look on his face, and you're just like, hello?
So you're telling me that the giant rat might do a better job?
Yeah, pretty much. Rizzle could probably do a better job than any of these people.
Just get Remy to make your sandwich. I'm sure it'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey. Don't hork it down. Well, what can I say?
Little chef.
Yeah.
Maybe
that was the plan.
So you've had a busy couple of weeks. Jeff, how you been doing?
Yeah.
Let's see. What have I been up to? I saw. What did I see? Oh yeah, I saw Aladdin on Saturday. So I guess we can get into that in a little bit. Trying to think what else. Did a little bit of speaking on Sunday night. Nothing. My favorite is sometimes when you have this idea in your head. It's like, I'm just going to go out there and try it and see what happens. And you're like 3 minutes into like what's supposed to be a 20-minute presentation. And you're like, okay, this isn't going to work at all. Not only is it not going to work at all, I really have nothing. But I got 20 minutes to fill, so I'm going to figure out how.
So Jeff flies by the seat of his pants.
And the worst part is that because this is like a place where I'm just kind of like working on stuff, and it's like everybody can tell too. It's not like not your normal audience, but they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that was good." It's like, what was that? And I'm like, well, welcome to me having an idea and like going. My favorite was I was like sitting there and I'm like, because they're giving me time signals on like how much time I have left. I'm like, okay, where's the first time signal so I know I can start to land this thing? It's like, it needs to come sooner. It needs to come sooner. I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking. I'm like halfway through. I'm like sitting here going, oh my god, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Every time I sit there and I ask a question, they all think it's rhetorical, so they don't say anything. And I'm like, oh god. And they all have this look on their face like they'd rather be anywhere but here. And I'm like, this is just it's like I'm drowning. I can't find a lifeboat. It's like, oh god. So, yeah, that it was an interesting idea. It's not gonna work. I have no understanding of. I'm like, yeah, that was an interesting idea of a concept. Yeah, we're not doing that. I have nothing for that.
But you had a venue where you could experiment or think, see a trial balloon, so to speak.
Right. Now that's one of the.
They should have Toastmaster places where, kind of like comedy clubs, where you could try out all this.
Oh, that's what it is. Well, in fairness, that's what Toastmasters normally is. It's only in contests where you really shouldn't be doing that. But this was one of those times where it's like, I have an idea, and this sucks. It was one of those where it's like, I'm 5 minutes in, and I was almost going to be like, yeah, I got nothing. Go sit down. And I'm like, no, let's see if we can figure this out.
You're trying to navigate for the next 15 minutes.
Right. I'm like, it's like, and every time I thought I was like, I have turned a corner into another wall. Okay, well, how are we going to get out of this? Let's try going this way. No, that's not going to work either.
Why does this sound like an episode, a chapter of Algernon, man?
All I know is just, and of course, this is rare for me when I do things like this. So everyone is like, "Oh, goody, we get to watch him flounder," and I'm like, it's like lifeboat, someone, anyone. Nope, not getting.
Your Delta Chi name is Flounder.
It's like, I am drowning and I can't get out. It's like the lady in the commercial. I've fallen. I can't get up. I can't get up. Somebody should help me.
Life alert is on the way, Jeff.
Yeah, no, except there wasn't.
Oh.
It was really funny. They're like, how do you feel about that? Well, I feel that all I was doing was waiting for the green light to show up so I could get the hell out of there.
Hi, I'm having a foolish shit moment.
Yeah.
There's really not a lot I can do.
Yeah, really. I was just like,
There's nothing worse than having a foolish shit moment and not knowing how to navigate the foolish shit moment. You know what I mean?
Well, the problem is it's like, okay, I've got some stories. It's not really working together. I can't seem to get this figured out. It's like, it's that moment where you're like on stage and you're like, okay, I think I can pull this or this together. And it's like, no, this isn't working at all. Matter of fact, oh god, this isn't working. This isn't working.
So what did you learn from this experience?
I learned that even the best of us can have those days where it's just not going to work.
You just have to, push on through. I mean, there's.
Oh, I did. It was.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was.
You have to, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, trust me, I did. It was the part where it was like, that was a mess. Yeah, I know. I'm aware it was a mess. I'm aware that there was. I'm aware that the women that the flight attendant came out and said, in case of a water landing, you need to be wearing this.
This is your life preserver. Make sure you pull the flaps all the way down, and the exits are here and here and here.
The good news is I actually think it was just a hard landing. I don't think it was like the plane skipped 5 times and broke into 5 pieces. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that one.
Well, I mean, you were flying for about 5 minutes, and then next thing you know, you came nose down. The landing gear kind of went out from underneath you, and you're skidding down the runway.
No, it was more like it's like we're in the air, I've lost engine number 1. I've lost engine number 2. I've lost engine number 3. It's like, okay, so we're going to try to land this thing only on engine number 4. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
It sounds like an episode of Airport, man.
So to answer your real question, that topic isn't going to work.
Okay.
So at least I've learned that. Although I do have some things that I picked up that I might be able to use other ways in other places. But
just use it as a learning experience.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's with anything,
So it was just a lack of mental preparation then? You thought maybe you could just wing it?
Oh, that's okay. So now I have to admit that most times I usually wing it anyway.
Well, there you go. Okay. you just didn't have the juice with you.
Sounds like radio, don't it?
Well, yeah. Sounds like most of our radio shows back in the day.
Yeah. Well, in fairness, it's like, so when I first started doing Toastmasters, it was like, I'm going to write these regimented speeches and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, and I do that. And then after a while, I was just like, I really want to be able to like get up there and do if somebody walked up to me and said, hey, we need somebody to do something, and I didn't have anything, to be able to like walk in there and do like 20 minutes standing on my head. Like nothing up my sleeve, presto. So I got really pretty good at that. And then what happened was, it's like, okay, I should really start getting back to scripting. I'm like, no, we enjoy this.
So it becomes this battle inside you as against, what can I do scripted against what I can do by the seat of my pants and make it sound convincing.
Well, so here's what here's the compromise I've kind of given myself, which is like when I did the contest this past spring, I started with a kernel of an idea back in like December, I want to say. And I just kept getting up and giving that same speech. And when I felt like there was a section that was good, it was like, okay, that's locked. And then what would happen is like, all right, let me try this and play with this. No, that didn't work. Let me try this and play with this. No, that didn't work. Okay, let me try this. Okay, that works. Let's keep that. And I would keep doing that. And I did that for about, I want to say about 3-4 months, where literally it was like, where by the time I got to the district contest, which is the big contest, I really had spent the better part of 3 months really drilling that thing to a point where I kind of laughed, because the last thing I did was put it to paper, because I had already had most of it in my head. I mean, I knew much what I was going to say, how I wanted to say it, all that stuff, and it was kind of cool. It was like, it didn't feel rehearsed because it's just what I wanted to talk about. So it was cool that way. But other people usually do have to write out their stuff a little bit more. And in fairness, if I had written it out a little bit more, maybe I'd have something.
Did you have notes? Like note cards?
Oh, when I was up there? No.
No?
No.
No, I mean, we're doing the note card thing. Is that the thing that separates the amateurs or the novices from the pros?
It depends. It depends on what you're trying to do. Like, if I had to read like a whole bunch of like weird names and stuff like that, I might want note cards. Okay, especially depending on the type of presentation too. Like if I'm doing when I did my TED, I wasn't going to use a note or anything. I mean, that's just not the kind of presentation where you use notes or you use a note or anything along those lines. But if I'm presenting in front of a room and I'm behind a lectern and they want me to quote a whole bunch of statistics, multiple statistics in a speech, yeah, I might have some notes just to have that. Because
just for certain statistical information.
Right, or I might bullet points or something like that. It depends a little bit on the setup and the audience. It really comes down to who is your audience and what you're talking about, what your why is for the day. That's a big thing about that, because seriously, if you're going to sit there and start putting certain things about where, you have to remember a whole bunch of statistics and whatnot, that is rough. I mean, it can be done, but you're going to spend a lot of time just trying to remember all the numbers and stuff. And
yeah,
right.
I mean, I figured there would be a whole lot of rehearsal prep to sit there and, dates, names, numbers, locations, know.
Right. That stuff is
right. Committing raw data to memory. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. If anything, that's where I sit there and I go, okay, that's where power. I'm not a big proponent of PowerPoint because to me, one of the reasons I'm not a big proponent is because usually when people are doing stuff like that, they're pretty much whatever they're going to say next is right on the slide. And I'm like, well, if you're going to put it on the slide, I don't need to hear you talk about it. Just read.
Right. Okay. Now committing things to memory, it seems like it's almost gotten to be a lost art of sorts because, for years you have newscasters who read off of prompters. You have broadcasters who read off of screens and or, whatever it is that's in front of them. So, is the art of committing things to memory starting to become a memory?
No, because you still have stand-up. You still have public speakers who do these big shows where there's no podium.
So
or whatever.
in the comedic sense, where rapid fire timing and everything is of the essence, and then you got the people who are passionate about what they do, and I guess you have to also include the motivational speakers who are just from one end of the spectrum to the other. Just in that, they hit their bullet point and then they go on bullet point and then they go on bullet point and then they go on. Yeah. Okay,
well, it depends. Like, for example, there's some where they really kind of have what they want to talk about, but there are some where they're going to walk in and they have things to talk about. But if you wanted to go a different direction with them, they'll take the twist and go, and they got no problem with it. But that's really not what they're there for that day. Again, it kind of depends on. Okay, did I have a conference planner who said specifically, I want you to come in and talk about this today? Or is there something that they want you, like when Toastmasters comes to me and they want me to do like one of their like programs where I'm doing an actual like special program and not a contest. Okay. And they'll sit there and they say, okay, this is what we want you to talk about. Now that's when I have to prepare based on that. Now it's funny. The last time I did that was back in December, and it's funny. One of the things I learned, another experience where things did not go as planned, and that I did, where I learned a few things. But what was interesting was, I came to a conclusion that's something where I know how to do it, and I knew it very well, but I don't know with the way that I teach it that audience was going to be receptive to what I was telling. Because there were a lot of things they assumed that they knew, understood, and they weren't buying it. So, but I don't think it's a lost art. I think that it still exists because you, even on TV at times when you have some of these shows, and I'm just using this as an example, like The View, they have those.
It's just free-form discussion.
Right. They have those hot take things. And sure, there's certain things where they have thoughts and they know what's going to be talked about. But I don't know I don't think that's scripted. It certainly doesn't look scripted because there have been plenty of times where they've all had spats and whatnot.
I think in cases of talk shows, I think maybe, I could be totally wrong on this, but I think they have something topical written up on the prompter, and maybe they just have that heading, and then they just kind of go with that. Like,
right.
At this time, you should talk about this, or at this time, you should go to this, or this person is coming on.
And when they have a guest, they have a set list of questions they want to ask them. So
they do. Well, and that's an interesting thing too, because that's an interesting thing too, because and Ivan can talk. That's the one aspect that was interesting because, I did a lot more with my broadcast career. I would be in situations like that. And there were a couple times where people were like, so what are you going to ask me? And I'm like, and I kind of was like, well, we can talk about this, or this. Then I would ask something that wasn't on the list, and they'd be doing. I'd be like, why was that out of bounds? Too bad. I don't care.
Well, but in a case like that where you're doing interviews, especially on the spot interviews, that's
no. I mean, I did public affairs. Like there were a couple times, like when I did public affairs at one point, there was something where it was when they were talking about the tollway and some of the things that they were doing at the time where they were going to make a whole bunch of changes and people were upset. And I brought on people from the tollway authority. One of those where it's like, I'm going to ask them a question. I'm going to ask them another question. And I'm going to keep on leading them through these questions. And as I'm leading them through the questions that I had, it's like I'm writing down some of the some of the answers and listening to some of what he's talking about.
Right.
And I'm like, so what you're saying is this. And
right.
It was one of those where suddenly there's a giant pause because it's like you hit them right between the eyes, like a deer in headlights. And they kind of like are blinking at that moment, but it's on the phone, so you can't see it, but you know it. And the first words out of their mouth isn't a confident answer anymore. It's like, well. And then
and it always starts with, well, or yeah.
And the dynamic of the interview has changed, and.
Right. And at that point, they're like, oh. And it's like, and trust me, I got done.
I think they're looking for their exit strategy at that point.
Well, it was funny because we were only about 10 minutes into a 20-minute like a 30-minute interview, and I'm like, "Yep. Did you really think because I'm on a small station you'd never heard of, I wasn't going to ask good questions? I was just going to roll it out there and let you softball the whole way." There were a couple of other times for public affairs programming. Some of the stuff was actually for people who probably never heard the damn thing. I'm sure some people might have actually been impressed, but there were a couple.
But all it was just to help to hone your craft.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, there's that too, and then look, I'm doing a legitimate public affairs program. I'm bringing these people on to talk about real public affairs issues. It's not one of those. It'd be different if it was, here's an event and this is what's going on and we're going to do this. That's different than if we're going to actually talk about something really that affects the public, where it's more of an actual topical thing. And
cause I had a huge admiration for like Walter Jacobson, because he would kind of get out there and he would just kind of give you the gut punch of the situation, and you knew he was going for the jugular every time he got on the air, and when he put out that public affairs.
Yeah, the hard-hitting questions.
Right. I mean, he wasn't afraid nor ashamed to get down to the bone, to bite hard and get down to the bone. And I think a lot of that, you don't see a lot of that now as you do maybe back in those days, or maybe I just don't see it out there as much as I used to, because we've become that kind of a society where, well, you can't ask me that because that offends me.
It's there. It's just now it's very different. Like that whole that whole thing with Jim Acosta that happened, where they tried to ban him from the White House. There's an example where I got into it with so many people. It's like, no, he's asked. No. I mean, it's like
he's asking legitimate questions. He's asking legitimate questions, and you just don't throw the press out just because you don't like what they have to say.
Right. Well, and there's a perfect example. I mean, there's a perfect example. How many times? And Ivan, you've heard this before. I mean, I remember hearing this when I was back in the day when the Bulls were hot and I was on the Bulls beat.
Right.
I can't remember which of the second three-peat I was there, and I was in the practices, and they decided that they were tired of talking to us, and nobody would talk to anybody from the Bulls.
Right.
And I say anybody, I mean the players. We're talking guys like Jordan and Pippen, all of them. Well, nobody would talk, and the best is it got covered on TV. And it was funny because I had family why are they doing that to them? Who cares if they don't want to talk to them? Like, because you watch it on TV. and these are the people you're supposed to hear from and see. Like, well, we don't care about that as long as they win. Yeah, you should. You shouldn't be annoyed at the media. You should be annoyed at the fact that they don't want to talk so that you guys can hear what they will have to say. And it was funny at one point because it went on a couple of days, and at one point it got ridiculous, and we all of a sudden turned all the cameras on one of their I think their head media relations guy. It's like, so is there a reason? And the guy's like, whoa, put those down. And it's like, what?
What did the media guy say? What was the question?
He was like, we were like, is there a reason why we can't seem to get any talked to? He's like totally like, whoa, wait, this is I'm not here to get it. It's like, it was so funny because it was like, well, nobody else is talking. You're here.
So talk to us.
So guess what? This is now the story. And he scurried out of there too. But yeah.
It's almost like they put a news cap on everybody. Like, no.
They didn't purposely. I mean, the Chicago Bulls didn't purposely put a news cap on, but the players were like, we don't want to deal with the circus. And I can't blame them. It is crazy. I mean, when I showed up for the playoffs, you know, you see as it is, it's the Bulls. It's the late 90s Bulls with Rodman, okay? As it was, there's a whole slew of people that are local. I mean, there's a lot of local. And then now you got national, international, okay?
And Rodman, it's a headline anytime Rodman opened his mouth.
Well, and then you still got Jordan and Pippen, and you still and Tony Kukoc was on that like a big star Eastern Europe just loved Tony. So there's all kinds of crazy stuff like that. I mean, you hear stories all the time about this stuff, and like when the playoffs start, it's like, okay, there's Craig. I mean, there was one time I'm sitting across from Craig Sager, TNT, and I'm like, holy crap, really? And he's just sitting here like the rest of us, bored out of their minds, and that kind of stuff happen. Like there'd be people like I'd be like, whoa, and it was funny because I remember too. It was really funny because usually I got somebody bother me. During playoff time, I went to go to the practice facility, and someone was like, can I see credentials? And it was funny because there was somebody there going, oh no, he's good. He's here he's a lot. So they let me in. But like somebody was like being a stickler about it for once. So I was like, oh, interesting.
Well, do you think maybe that whole situation might have been created out of not having the team wrapped up in a big imbroglio in the media? Do you think that was just the zen of Phil Jackson happening there?
I don't know. I think they did. I think they were tired of the circuit point and didn't want to answer questions and didn't want to deal with it. And I think if I remember correctly, the team paid the fines too. So it's not like the players got fined. The team got fined, and I got the impression that, like I said, there's only so many days you can get away with that until the league office is like, they got to talk.
Right.
There's only so many days you can do that. I mean,
yeah, there's only so many days you can boycott or
right, exactly. There's only so many days you can do that. There goes, what are you doing? Especially we're talking about the Chicago Bulls. Okay,
the multiple-time championship Chicago Bulls.
Right, with Michael Jordan,
which is now getting national and worldwide attention.
Right, exactly. And I can't remember the season that they won 72 games, or it's the season after they won 70 games.
I think it was the season where they won the 72 games.
No, there were a couple of seasons my point is I can't remember what season this happened, if it was that one or if it was a couple. Oh no, you know what? It was the last. I can't remember if it was the middle or the last one. It wasn't the 72 wins. Yeah. I mean, by that point, it's it gets to be a circus, and it's kind of just like all that's like, I don't know if you caught in the media incident at Wrigley. By the time this airs, there was an incident where like one of the players was going to rush one of the reporters or something crazy like that, and one of them, the manager for the Mets, Like,
oh yeah, I saw the headline for that guy from the Mets.
And Ivan probably remembers this story about back in the late '90s, and I was there at what was Comiskey Park at the time for opening day, and Frank Thomas decides he's going to try to wait out the media, and while he's trying to wait, then White Sox player Tony Phillips decided to get into it with then Chicago Sun-Times columnist Jay Mariotti.
Oh yeah,
and it almost came to blows. And the best is, so at one point they calmed them down and they moved the other way, and then the PR people left the room, and no more than 10 minutes later they're at it again, and it looks like they're about to basically get into a fight. And the funny, at least in the scenario that I heard from at Wrigley, the writer was like, "Whoa, what's going on? What's happened? No. Okay." Jay Mariotti was like, "Go ahead, hit me." I'm like, "What the hell?" I'm like, it was like he was trying to bait him to hit him or something like that, and it just went nuts. And it was funny because about 5 minutes after Frank Thomas walked out, he's like, "I guess I better talk to you guys." Yeah, if you had, maybe we wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah.
Right.
But, there's still have I ever told you, Ivan? So I was the only one in the room who did record that day. And the best is I'm walking out with Mark Silver, Waddle, and Sylvie, who's now, and I knew Mark from high school. I walked out. I should take that. And he's like, "Oh no." Mark's like, "Oh no, I did the right thing." And I find out later, not only did he tape it, everybody taped it to play for everybody. And the best is there was it was a couple years later, I'm driving down to the Sun-Times building to work in the morning, and I'm catching Les Grobstein's show. And in his open, I hear the fight, and the reason I hear the fight is because I can hear me in the background talking to somebody else.
So you know whose tape it was?
Oh, everybody taped it. Everybody
but you heard your own voice, so
but
it must have been somebody.
Voice.
Yeah, somebody
right.
must have taped it. It was by you.
No, Les had taped it. Everybody in the whole place was running their audio on it.
All their mic on it. Yeah.
Right. So whatever version Les had, I was apparently not too far away because apparently you could hear me talking to somebody when it happened. So,
Ivan, your voice is a little muffled.
Yeah, well, like I said, and the funny part is there were some that were there that day, or people who were willing to stick around at that point. I'm one of the, you definitely. When it was funny, I think that was the same day. Yes, it was. That was the day I got on Terry Bevington, who was the White Sox manager's shit list that.
Well, speaking of the White Sox situations, okay, I don't know if this is old news or recent news, but what do you think of the whole outcry for celebrating the disco demolition down at Guaranteed Rate Field of all the stupid fucking corporate names they keep picking up for ballpark?
They're paying for that, though.
I know they're paying for that, but it's still Guaranteed Rate Field. Come on. Anyway.
You know what the best part about Guaranteed Rate Field is? Is that they have the arrow that's going down, kind of like the future of the White Sox.
Yeah, sort of like their win-loss record.
Right, exactly.
Okay, yeah. You're guaranteed to drop at this rate.
Right. And the best is, I know for a fact that the White Sox were trying to get them not to use that logo in the field.
For that
reason, and they said, "No, we're paid for it."
So it's just okay, because then now you got the situation where, there's this firestorm on, social media about why are we still celebrating the disco demolition when it destroyed property, canceled games, caused all kinds of chaos and destruction and such. Why are they still wanting to celebrate this day?
Because it's probably one of the craziest in baseball history. And in fairness,
but it has nothing to do with baseball, though.
Well, it has to do with
tangentially. It does.
You know, so yeah, you get, Steve Dahl and Gary Myers, at the height of their powers over there, at the Loop, and
I hear he's still he's still on the air, Gary Meyer.
Were they at the Loop or were they still at LS at that point?
I think they were still on the Loop.
No, they were on the Loop at that point.
Were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was right up there with, calling into Iran and trying to, get Ayatollah to release the prisoners and,
that was in the 70s.
Right.
Yeah.
I just thought they were still. I just thought they were still with LS at that point, weren't they?
No. But the thing about it was that, yeah, you have a publicity stunt that did good for nobody. But yet we're still going to have it at Guaranteed Rate Field, several decades later, because this is relevant.
Oh, are they really doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, they're really going to do a
Yes, they're doing the Disco Demolition thing as part of a promotional thing, just to, to acknowledge the fact that, oh yeah, back in the late 70s, we blew up a bunch of records and it got out of control. We tore up the inside of then White Sox Park and
then you forfeited a game.
And then you forfeited a game because the playing field was all fucked up. I mean, really?
Well, they're doing like a, so I guess they're doing a 40th anniversary then?
Are they blowing up records?
Because it was July.
I don't know. All I know is that everybody on social media was just saying, "Why are we still celebrating this bit of mediocrity? Why are we still doing this?" I mean, Gary Myers, yeah, he's still on the air. Steve Dahl, he's meandering in his basement now on a podcast, getting paid now because they kicked his ass off of GN. But
he wasn't on GN, was he? No.
Yeah.
No, Steve Dahl was on GN. The last time?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was on GN for a little while, yeah.
No, there wasn't. It was Steve Dahl and Mike Veek. Not
Mike Veck.
Veck. Well, it's Veck with two E's. So.
Yeah.
For those who might not know, Disco Demolition Night was an ill-fated baseball promotion at Convention Field. A crate full of disco records. They blew up a crate full of disco records.
Yeah,
and it got crazy and got on the field.
The people that were in Steve Dahl's Coho Club, ran amok, and there was just a lot of mayhem that people at White Sox Park were not bargaining for. It turned into a real shit show. They had to forfeit
the second game because the detonation damaged the field.
Right, so. Exactly.
Yeah.
You saw it on the news once it happened. Stupid. And we're stupid for even still acknowledging this shit. It has nothing to do with
but hold on. At the time, it's kind of funny because at the time the White Sox were doing anything to get noticed.
Right.
I mean, I hate to say it that way.
It was at the Loop, not LS.
He was at the Loop. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wait, hold on a second. Now I have a better question. They're going to do a 40th anniversary. Who's going?
The idiots who still want to remember the good times?
No, I don't mean that way. I mean, both Steve Dahl and Gary Myers.
I don't know if Flyers can be there. 39 people were arrested for disorderly conduct.
Because last I checked, neither one of them those two don't get along anymore. So
they haven't got along for years. Those two.
But
after Gary Myers gave him the high fuck you and walked out the door on Dahl. Dahl has been, Gary Myers had a much more relevant career. I mean, just my opinion, a more relevant career than Dahl had. Because, you listen to Dahl, and Dahl is like, okay then.
So, Jeff, how is Aladdin?
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
well,
this is my next statement.
We'll get to the Aladdin. Hold on. Because this is the part that would be interesting. Because the part that Ivan gets, the reason why Gary Meyer was like, "Hey, screw you," is Gary Meyer goes on vacation, and Steve Dahl and his wife are trashing Gary Meyer and his wife all over Chicago radio, and people air checked it and sent it to Gary Meyer, and Gary's like, screw you, we're done. So, yeah, I can't blame. That's why I'm like, when you say to me that it's the 40th anniversary of Disco Demolition, my first reaction is, oh, both Steve and Gary going to be there? Because I put money on the no. Because they haven't been in the same. They haven't been in. They haven't been in the same studio
in over 40 years. Those two.
Right. But
I mean, I know wasn't Gary Meyer and Ro Khan a thing for a while?
Yeah, they were on LS. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, like I said, hold
on. This is from last month. It's on Feeder's column. White Sox is going to celebrate the Disco Demolition at 40 with Steve Dahl.
Oh, okay, so it's only Steve Dahl. Sure, that makes sense. Gary Meyer wouldn't be interested in that, but Steve Dahl would be.
Well, he's going to throw out the first pitch and...
Wait, stop. Stop. Steve Dahl's going to throw out the first pitch?
Yes.
Anybody got odds on the fact it's not going to get there?
Oh, wait, this was June 13th.
Oh, is it June 13th? Did this already happen?
I thought this was July 12th. Yeah, well, the anniversary it happened on July 12th, but they had the thing on June 13th. I guess, I don't know. This obviously went on under the radar, so.
I don't know.
Well, that's because it's idiotic and really nobody paid no credence. There's a whole, I think, generation that doesn't even remember it, or even has Yeah, and then not only that, it's just like just something else I read on social media about the Roy Rogers and Dale Evans Museum closing up, and I'm thinking in my mind, well, we have several generations that have not seen the TV show, that don't know who the heck, don't have an idea who Roy Rogers or Dale Evans are in this day and age, and then they're wondering why the museums are closing.
Well, we haven't had the bio yet.
And so and will the biopic even be relevant at this point?
I don't know.
Maybe on a cable channel, maybe.
Right. Well.
Yeah, but nobody cares about westerns anymore. Nobody cares about, I mean, what's the last western you've seen in the theater?
Let's see. The Coen Brothers remake of True Grit.
Okay, and is anybody talking about that? Did it become a classic or what?
It got nominated for an Academy Award.
Okay,
It had a couple of nominations.
Yeah, it had a couple of nominations.
Oh no, but I'm saying no. But okay, so we were able to pop off one back in the 1950s, where like every other TV show was a western, and westerns were being cranked out at an astronomical rate in Hollywood.
Hold on a second.
We had Django.
Yeah, the Django. There you go.
Okay.
Westworld. Westworld's based on the Old West.
Well, it's based on the crazy movie, but
that's an automated situation.
But it's still
an automated situation. It has there's the robots in it.
Yeah.
Right, but it's Kittyland, a Western Kittyland. Yeah.
Well, okay. You go to that Western Kittyland and try not to die. But,
true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it makes for a great...
You're asking me off the top of my head. I'd have to actually go... I mean, I don't want to sit there and say Unforgiven, but... Because I know there's got to be
long time ago.
Yeah. There's got to be something in between.
Then there's Tombstone. There was Tombstone, which I thought Tombstone was great.
I like the Wyatt Earp, the one with... Kevin Costner was a better one.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Pale Rider.
No. Then
Pale Rider. That was fucking 1980 or something.
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. So in the last what, maybe 20, 30 years, other than just what the Coen Brothers did and everything like that. See,
my problem is I'm just trying to. That's my headache. Like, I'm trying to remember in the last 20 years. I'm trying. Because off the top of my head, Unforgiven falls in where?
I think there was like 2000, I want to say.
Is it? Is it really only 2000?
I put my money on that, yeah.
Unforgiven won everything. I mean, that movie was amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at all the people that was in it. And it was pretty rock hard, solid story.
Yeah.
Unforgiven was 1992.
Wow. See, I didn't think it was that late. I didn't late you guys did.
Okay, well, see, we stay corrected.
Right.
The Duck of Death is as good as gone.
Right. So, I mean, if you really stop and think about it, Tombstone was in the 90s. Unforgiven was in the 90s. So there was a little bit of a...
I think Silverado was also...
Silverado,
there was kind of a little resurgence in the 90s. But, in the 2000s and then especially in the 2010s, I mean...
I'd have to look. I can't imagine that there hasn't been any. It's just nothing's clicking in my brain at the moment.
I'm just kind of throwing that out there because it's kind of like after reading about Roy Rogers and Dale Evans, and I'm just thinking, well, the only time I remember...
That's not even the same kind of Western.
Well,
but he's a country Western singer. That has nothing to do with the...
Well, no, he's not a singer. He was a movie star. See, there you go.
But he was like
He was the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s. He had a television show. He had a recording career. He had several local shows. I mean, there's a lot to be said about
he
Roy
makes
Rogers.
a great hamburger.
Well,
which is why the Stan and Ollie movie got put under the rug or whatever. Didn't get very high press.
No, because one, I think marketing had a lot to do with that because they showed it in so few theaters because they thought, well, it's Laurel and Hardy. How many people care about Laurel and Hardy anymore? How many people know about Laurel and Hardy? I know there's those of us that do. I get it.
Yeah, a lot of millennials probably wouldn't know who Stan Laurel and Hardy are.
Exactly, because unless they watched their fair share of syndication and or got binge watched it on YouTube or whatever, I mean, it's not something that's actually out there. I mean, people
but by that
know about the Three Stooges than they would know about Laurel and Hardy.
Well, hold on a second. Do millennials really know? Would millennials and under really know who the Three Stooges are anymore?
Well, because Three Stooges is still out there. Three Stooges is still being shown.
Where?
Yes.
Maybe on like on one TV station.
Yeah, it's not like back
late at night.
But well, no. I mean, MeTV does it. I mean, right next to Spangoolie.
But nobody watches TV anymore. Not a lot of
this is true. Not many people watch TV. And there's a word for you. TV, terrestrial television, all temped out at,
they don't watch it the way
they don't watch it the way they, nobody watches television the way they used to anymore because of the fact there's just so many choices now. And why would you want to watch terrestrial television? It's just like, why would anybody want to do terrestrial radio?
Hold on a second. There's still, let's hold off on that. There's still some stuff on quote unquote broadcast networks that's actually good TV. It happens. It's just.
I know. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I don't think that the masses watch as much broadcast television now as I think they go to, streaming services.
Television ratings have been an overall decline in the last 15 years. That is a fact.
Right.
No, you're right. And with that, Mike, I'll take you to that. Yeah.
So, Jeff, how is Aladdin?
Okay, sorry. We'll get there.
He's dying to know.
We'll get there. So, let me say this. If I had never seen the 90s Robin Williams version, I would be like, wow, that was amazing. That was incredible. That was spectacular. Is Will Smith Robin Williams? No. Does he try to be? No. If anything, the one thing I kind of sit there and think about with Will Smith on it is I kind of wish Will Smith would have tried to be a little bit more Will Smith than being a little more understated. And it's not to say he didn't do stuff, but I think in some ways he was intimidated a little bit by following in Robin Williams' footsteps. As to what he could and couldn't do. I mean, there was even stories out there about that he didn't necessarily in the beginning know that he wanted to take the role because he's like, I'm not following Robin Williams after that. That's an iconic role.
Right.
And in fairness, he gives a good performance. Is he Robin Williams? No. Is he entertaining? Yeah. Does he stink up the joint as a genie? No. If anything, my one thing I caught was I would have liked to have seen a little bit more hip-hop styling from Will Smith with the genie, especially on some of the musical numbers. There was a little bit there, but not a lot. And I would like to have seen a little.
You would have liked to have seen him do a little bit more Fresh Prince, Bel Air stylings.
Yeah. I think
some of the music that he would have done in the movie. I get it.
Right, and I think that might have helped. And I want to be clear about something. Everything I'm saying right now about it, I want to be clear. I liked the movie. I think they did a great job with the movie. I'm saying that I think Will Smith was in a situation where this is an iconic role by an iconic person, and everybody talks. And I think that he does a good job. I just think there's things that he could have done to make this role bigger, but I think that he might have been intimidated.
Well, I think you think maybe had he tried to bring some of his own personality to the role, do you think maybe people might have thought he was grandstanding and not respecting the role that was recreated by Robin Williams?
I don't think about grandstanding, but I do think there would have been people's reactions who would have been, oh, he's just trying to be like Robin Williams. And I do think people would have looked at him being like, oh, you're just trying to be Robin Williams. And it's like,
But do you feel that no matter what Will Smith would have done, he was going to be scrutinized by the masses about that anyway, no matter what he did?
Yeah, and I think that's part of where I sit there and go, he could have done more with this, and I think he went with less is more.
Yeah, he didn't knock it out of the park. He wasn't trying to go over the top.
He just tried to stay comfortable with it, as far as
he doesn't
not trying to color outside the lines, if you will.
Well, I mean, and in fairness, that character, the way it's been created, can color it a lot of outside lines. And it's not to say he doesn't color outside lines, but does he really go all the way out there?
To color way outside the lines.
Right. Does he do enough to make you sit there and go, yeah, he does. Do you feel good he did a good job with the role? Yeah, I do. Do I feel like he could have done more with it? Yeah, I do. But I'm not gonna knock him when, exactly, the damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
I hate to say it that way.
But it's just like the scrutiny that Heath Ledger was under when he took on the role of the Joker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, although it's funny because Heath Ledger in the end went. Now everybody heard Heath Ledger.
Well, maybe that just compounded by the fact that he passed away.
Yeah. Although it's funny because Mark Hamill never has. He does like the Joker for the cartoon.
Well, that's different though.
Well, you also have the people who tell the story. Oh, Joker. It was Heath Ledger. That's the role that killed him eventually.
Well,
they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, yeah. Well, anyway, getting back to, I thought that they certainly at times deviate from the original. I don't have an issue with any of the deviation. I think you're making a live action. You want to make some. You don't want. Do you really want it to be exactly like what you would watch?
Yeah, you want it to be a frame by frame representation.
Yeah, I don't. I understand. So I'm okay with that. They did add a couple of songs, some new songs. One specifically for Jasmine. I will laugh, Mike. All the conversations we've had about how the representation of how to create strong female characters, and we sit there and we say, well, why does it have to be so ridiculously over the top obvious? Well, let me tell you something. In this movie, they nail it. Jasmine, they do Jasmine perfectly. They give her a lot more opportunity. They make that character bigger. They definitely make it like she is a hero and not the, Aladdin is here to save me kind of thing. She definitely has her place in it, and I feel like she was as powerful, if not more powerful, times than him. And
the actress pulled it off?
Yeah, and not in a way, by the way, that diminishes Aladdin either. So...
But she made a strong presence in the framework of the movie, whereas in the cartoon their presence wasn't as strong.
Right. Well,
and she compliments Aladdin in addition to being, kind of like subservient to Aladdin. Like
the other thing is just it's funny because I really do like, and yet she stands on her own for the movie. She does. Uh-huh. She stands firmly on her own. Where, quite frankly, you could sit there and go, yeah, she wouldn't need Aladdin. But she sees, but they're together and that they see each other that way. Versus some of the things we've seen from Disney with how sometimes they do things lately in Star Wars. And then that one scene in Avengers, it's ridiculously like all
placated,
of the women.
Right.
Yeah, and it's funny, I was having a conversation with somebody who a friend of mine went to Avengers, saw that movie, went, really? But yet the two people he was with, which was his wife and his daughter, were like, yay!
Exactly.
And I'm like, wow, really? And he's like, there is definitely, it feels like there's definitely something, I guess there's something to that, but to me, I thought, if anything, the Marvel people and the Star Wars people should take notes. Jasmine. Because they nailed it.
It wasn't
really
ham-fisted.
I thought, overall, it was really good. I liked the music. I liked a lot of what they did. I liked, how they made Agrabah look. I liked a lot of those aspects. If there was one thing I did not like, is when you think of the original cartoon, who's the other standout cartoon?
That would be Iago.
Yes. So they make a Iago a regular parrot, which is fine, but a Iago talks like a regular.
Okay.
Oh.
And so,
of course, they didn't have Gilbert Gottfried.
They definitely.
Now, Alan, I'm on IMDb. Alan Tudyk, K2SO, was Iago.
Was he? Well, I didn't even realize that it sounds like they could have played Iago because it was more. It sounded like a real parrot doing things like that kind of thing versus like.
Look at me! I'm so upset. I'm molting.
Right. That didn't happen. It was more of a naturalized.
Okay, got it.
Parrot bird, and to me, I was kind of like, why? Why not let the parrot have?
Why couldn't they just maybe cleverly CGI and have Gilbert Gottfried reprise his role?
Well, and here's the thing. You want to make it look like a regular parrot. I don't have a problem with that. My thing was, and that's where it was interesting. Jafar, where he's brooding and doing his thing. Iago is there and he makes comments, but not like it doesn't give. I feel like Jafar didn't have enough in the live action. Didn't have enough to play off of because
right. We all like the happy-go-lucky, the minion who's really funny.
Right. Well, and it's not that he's not. He talks more like a parrot, and he doesn't really talk
much.
It's like they treat him like a parrot now.
So there was not a lot of interaction because when you go back to the '90s movie. They had a dialogue, a dynamic between,
they have
Iago and Jafar.
They have a dynamic, but it's not a dialogue. And because of the fact that they made it a natural thing versus...
It kind of takes away from the whole...
Right.
That he's talking to a parrot, and that the parrot is a parrot.
Right, exactly. It's more like... The parrot talks because it's like it's trained to talk like a versus
it's trained to respond to certain stimulus from the owner.
Well, it talks a little bit more than stimulus, but it still sounds like that. And to me, that's where I was like, missed an opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, they even talk about it. They even talk about it in articles where they talk about the original Aladdin, where it's like, when in doubt, hurt the parrot. You know, do something to the parrot, and that didn't happen either. You know, like that kind of stuff. Like I said, though, I mean, it was solid. I enjoyed it. I don't know that I'm glad I didn't pay dollars for it, but I'm glad I saw it for matinee price.
That's cool, though. I mean, now because you saw it and you liked it, now I'm a little bit more prone to want to see it myself. I mean,
yeah.
But then you know, I mean, look what I said about Dumbo. And for a while there,
right.
I was poo-pooing on Dumbo, thinking, you know, this, no, that. But then I went to go see it. I'm like, shit, man.
Right, because you saw it, I saw it. By the way, I saw it, and by the way, that was my rationale. Okay, I'll see Aladdin. That was my rationale for seeing Aladdin. Okay, they seem to figure out how to do Dumbo, and what's become clear to me is it seems like Disney has figured out that these live action pieces that they're doing they can't blow it with. It can't be something people walk away and go, "Oh my God, what were they thinking?" Okay.
Yeah, well, they get a lot rides on the original movies when you're trying to make live action film, and then you don't want to replicate it to the point where, well, if you've seen one Disney live action movie, you've seen them all. They don't want that. They want to have something where you could go ahead and you get something more out of the experience, more than the last time that you saw it in the cartoon. Which, of course, hence the fact they gave you a couple extra songs.
Well,
they did different dynamics. They did different things in the movie. It was just like Dumbo was only 59 minutes long in its original release, but here it is. They managed to put a half an hour.
Right. They added a bunch of
which they didn't deter from the. They had the things that was in the original movie. But the stuff that they did add did not take away from the original sensibility of the movie. That's very fucking clever when you're able to do something like that, you know?
Well, like I said, to me, the thing is, you know, people identify with the cartoon versions heavily. And so there's a lot of expectation on what these things are going to look like. Are they going to hold up? And I think what Disney has figured out is, we have to make sure that these hold up to a certain level, or otherwise we're done.
Yeah, exactly. Because if they don't hit or surpass that bar in respect, then all is lost. Because then
all it takes is one of them not to hold up. Okay, and I think that right now that's advantage that they're having right now is, okay, Beauty and the Beast was, the Jungle Book was really good.
Yeah, Jungle Book, I love that one.
Right. Dumbo has been, I mean, all these, they have a track record at this point that these live actions.
Pete's Dragon was here and gone. That one really didn't stick.
Yeah. That's like.
But Pete's Dragon in its original release was like that too. Wasn't that great a movie? It's just like if they did a live action Black Cauldron, unless they really take it to the limit on that one, because the original Black Cauldron was deemed too dark in its theatrical release. But to try to go ahead and do a live action movie, it might work now because a lot of time has passed and not. I don't know.
I think it's funny because what I've heard. And again, don't quote me on this. The one thing I heard was they're talking about a live action. They're talking about a live version of Hercules, which I would be okay with. I think it's one of those movies that's in their catalog that's vastly underrated. Love the music.
Yeah.
love the music. The music from it is really good. They got in. I don't know if you're aware, Ivan. They got in to do the music.
And
it's really, really, it's good. It's fun. It's a fun.
Yeah, we saw Hercules. We were in Rochester in '97 when we saw Hercules.
Yeah, which I loved what they did with Hercules. If they do a live action Hercules, are you kidding? I'd be there. I would have bought the ticket yesterday.
And I gotta be honest with you, I think they do a good job. But to answer, to finish up real fast, out of 5 Yeah Mans, I gave it 3.5.
Okay.
I gave it 3.5. I think it's again, my comment to people would be, go take a matinee or a show, go on the cheap Tuesday and go see. By the way, by the next time we do the show, I will have seen Dark Phoenix, so it'll be interesting.
Ooh,
all right,
okay.
Yes, we'll hold that. We'll hold the Dark Phoenix table for next show. But
we talked a little bit about Dark Phoenix, right?
I did
last time, right?
I saw Dark Phoenix.
But I saw Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, Ivan and I both saw it. So
did you both see it? Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I know you said you saw Toy Story 4. Was it Attack of the Small Children?
No, the audience cooperated. There were a bunch of kids in the movie. There was no short. So but there's still lots of trailers for all the other animated films that are coming later this year. Oh, and just before I get into that, I guess they've slated Kevin Hart. He's going to be the voice of Mushu the Dragon in the Mulan remake.
Is he really?
They're not getting Eddie Murphy?
Nope. It will be Kevin Hart.
That makes sense.
Okay. They want a different take on it, and I get it. So.
Well, there's other reasons why you don't want. I think that's maybe a good idea.
But no, Toy Story 4. No, the audience. It was a 7 p.m. Friday night showing.
Oh, okay.
So there were lots of kids, but we had a very cooperative audience.
Cool.
So I didn't have to worry about the kids making a little bit more noise or whatever. So best movie of the year.
So is it, Tom Hanks talked about he cried when like the one scene. Is it really that
it's
emotional?
not as rip your heart out and stomp and throw it on the floor and stomp it like the end of Toy Story 3. But there were definitely feels in this movie, and it's amazing how it's like how many sequels can you say the movies keep getting better, and they know their element, they know their craft. This is Pixar back in its glory days.
Okay.
And a lot of people saying Toy Story 3. Why did they make a Toy Story 3? 2 was a good ending. No. Then they make Toy Story 3, and they said this is the perfect ending for a Toy Story franchise. But no, they do one more. They got one more in their pocket, and this one is an excellent conclusion to the Toy Story franchise. I don't know if I'd want to see another one, but man, yeah, they had me. Like the first scene. I'm going to maybe have some minor spoilers here. Maybe some minor ones. So
No, go ahead.
You see in the trailers, you see Bo Peep is back.
Mm-hmm. I've seen the trailers, yeah.
Yes, and in Toy Story 3, there was her name was mentioned in passing, how we lost Bo. And we find out how we lost Bo. So then there's a road trip with the family and Bonnie, the little girl, and how her first day of kindergarten, she makes Forky.
Yeah.
A friend. So, and he's having an existential crisis because...
Or Spork.
He was a Spork, yeah, but she calls him Forky. But this is I love this story. It was super great. Loved it. I've been half my life ago. It was 24 years ago in 1995 when I saw the first one. Mm-hmm. Damn. So this was a great journey. I had some friends with me who are lifelong Toy Story fans, and I think one of them is going to need therapy now.
Oh, God.
You know who you are.
Oh, God.
This was our friend Tessman. Ivan, you know our friend Tessman. he's gonna need therapy now after this. But let me tell you, it was. I say if I gave Endgame 4.5 yeah mans, I'd have to give this one 5. I mean, best movie of the year. I mean, I love this film. I'm not just saying that. No, I'm not just saying they're like kind of a fickle. Like I said the same thing maybe about Incredibles 2, but think it back.
No, but
I had a few more days to stew on it, and this was still an excellent film.
Well, if it stayed with you like that, then yeah, it had to have been a great movie.
But it was so emotionally taxing at the end. I don't know if I want to see it again for a while. Because we have this much emotional investment in these characters, and that's what we talked about.
And I think that's what they're banking on. Yeah, Mike and Jeff.
But the fact that too, it was the CG keeps getting better. I mean, there's a couple scenes when you're in the antique shop, you forget that it's CG. I mean, it looks so real now. I mean, the dust on everything and just the Well, but I tell you, it was an awesome story.
Great movie. I know. I mean, we've seen a couple of the commercials where there's the two. I can't remember who's playing the two stuffed animals where they're pretty.
Oh, Key and Peele. They're the Ducky and Bunny.
Yeah, where it's the two infinity and your mom
and my foot.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then okay, and then of course
do they get any? Does it get funnier than that or no?
Oh no, it gets funny. Actually, there were a lot of great laughs in this movie.
Okay.
Especially from Keanu Reeves, who plays Duke Kaboom, which is like a Canadian Evel Knievel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. My question. Okay, the two ventriloquist dummies, the brothers. That just kind of, when I saw those in the posters and the pictures I've seen, they're kind of creepy, actually. Are they creepy in the movie?
They are creepy, yes. And they do not speak.
Ooh, that's even more leery. All right.
Although, like, what you call it, like, Wreck-It Ralph had a villain. But Wreck-It Ralph 2 really did not have a definitive villain. Although this movie kind of does have a villain, but at the end, the villain's motivations.
Right.
And by the end, you're sympathizing with the villain. It's not like those are the best villains who think this is why I'm doing what I'm doing to fulfill my own goals. I don't want to tell you guys anything because it's just so great a story. I loved it. So
that's good.
But it's great.
One last question. I'll let it sit. One last one.
One last question.
Okay, why is Bo Peep running around in her underwear?
Well, she just lost the fancy dress. That's all. She's just a little more practical.
She lost her sheep.
Practical wardrobe. No, she did not lose her sheep.
Oh.
Okay.
Got her sheep.
Then that's all. That's as far as I'm going to take it.
She's got like a Polly Pocket kind of friend with her. So a lot of jokes about her being very small. So it's great. What else?
Sorry?
Mel Brooks had a voice in it. He was like the elephant, I think, in Bonnie's room. He had like 2 lines or something.
Really?
I was like, yeah, Mel Brooks. That's cool. But I guess Don Rickles did get his lines before he passed away. So there was a big dedication to Don Rickles.
What they did.
Yeah.
What they did, because I saw something about.
What was that?
I saw something about this today. I guess Don Rickles really wanted to be in this movie, but he passed before they started it.
Oh.
And they were able to piece together enough from his other appearances in Toy Story to actually put him in the movie.
Okay, because he is listed on IMDb as Mr. Potato Head, so.
Right. Well,
I'm sure. From the miles and miles of piles of digital, I'm sure that he's left enough behind,
right.
outtakes
and obviously they didn't have much from Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head to do anyway, so.
Yeah.
So he had just a couple lines here and there, but I was like, the guy sounds like, because I know Don Rickles passed away, and like, that guy kind of sounds like Don Rickles. Like when Jim Varney passed away, because he's Slinky the dog, they had a guy who just replaced him who sounded like Jim Varney. So.
Right.
But anyway, so that was a dedication to Don Rickles, and it was great. So. Yeah. So beautifully shot, and this was like Pixar back when they know what they're doing. Not with, it was just jarring to not have a short. I was you're mentally preparing for like, okay, we'll get a fun little short before the things, but they go right into it, so.
Because there's been a lot of about them having the shorts for some strange
Well,
reason.
the whole controversy over Coco and the Frozen short.
Oh, and the 20-minute Frozen short.
Yeah, that was a misfire.
Yeah.
That was definitely a misfire.
Yeah, that was not good.
I still don't understand what the problem was, but okay.
I mean, probably you had to have your kids sit there for over 2 hours.
Oh, how dare they sit there for 2 hours? What the hell? I mean, they watched Avengers.
Well, the thing is, too, a lot of people got confused, especially in the Hispanic community, because here it is, they think they're bringing their kid to see Coco, and then you've got this Frozen 2 thing going for almost 20 minutes, and they're thinking, did I bring my kid to the wrong movie? What's going on here? Why is this thing so long?
Well, I thought Frozen was, like, the thing for, like, you know... I thought Frozen was like every...
It will be again. That's the beauty of it.
Oh, God. That's another time
well,
I'm not getting
I don't know. Frozen 2, just like I didn't visit Frozen 1, so it's like, okay.
Oh, I saw Frozen 1. I saw Frozen 1 because I wanted to know what all the hullabaloo...
And?
Like, oh, God. Oh, no, never again.
And now I'm going to have to see Frozen 2 and talk about it just to piss off Jeff, I think.
Oh.
We should go see them.
So 5 out of 5 yeah-mans for Toy Story 4. Go see it.
Yes, go see it.
Frozen 2, Electric
Frozen
Boogaloo.
2.
I don't know.
Electric Boogaloo, that's good. I can just see some of these characters, breakdancing and hip hopping.
It's going to be like dark and gritty and dismal adventure and seriousness stuff.
Yeah,
yeah, they set the snowman on fire and watch him melt, and everybody laughs.
Hey, did you? I don't know if you caught this today. So the guy who did Ragnarok, what's his name? I can't remember.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, I guess Disney and Fox are talking to him about doing Flash Gordon.
I see it. It could be good.
And they're talking, and he's talking about wanting to do it as an anime.
Sure.
Wait a minute. I think I saw a picture of that on social media.
Jim posted. Yeah, Jeff probably posted it. So
maybe.
I didn't read the article.
Again, but yeah, I gotta be honest with you. There's a part of me where I'm like, I definitely would like to see Flash Gordon back again. And animated would be really interesting. That might be a really cool idea. Especially, if they really, I don't know. I'm curious. And the other thing, timing's interesting too, because, people sit there and say, well, what are you going to do about the fact are you going to use the Queen music? You can. Not only can you use the Queen music, but they're touring with Adam Lambert, so maybe they can make new stuff. Or maybe they could re-record a few things and freshen things up and make it more current.
Yeah.
Or you could go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I don't know. Go ahead, Ivan.
Well, okay, speaking of music, just kind of interjecting something just off the side of the wall here. Yeah, the Cybertronics are going to be appearing over at Beat Kitchen in Chicago on August 2nd.
The
Tickets
what?
are available now. The Cybertronics.
Okay.
The band.
Huh?
Okay.
Okay, let me elucidate. This is a band that dresses all like Transformers.
Oh, you mean the Cybertronic Spree? Okay, yeah, I know that.
Oh.
They've done.
Yes, they're going to be at Beach Kitchen on August 2nd, and the tickets just went on sale today.
Okay,
they're doing a tour of the Midwest.
All right, that's good. Cool for them. Yeah, they did.
I wanted to see it.
Their cover of the Immigrant Song went viral on YouTube and social media. But she's a good singer. Yeah, the lead singer who dressed it up as RC. So, okay, cool. Cybertronic Spree.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, that I might want to go see that show, and then just, on our next, around the time that our next, of course, at the round table, so I can give you the interview on that. Unless, of course, you guys want to join me.
Now, I will be out of town August 2nd.
Oh, where are you going?
Out of town.
Okay.
Now, I'm visiting my uncle in Pennsylvania, so I won't be in town.
Aha.
Okay.
I was like, where are you going?
Yeah.
That's why I won't be able to make it, Ivan.
Sit there, pick on me here.
We need to pick on somebody.
Well, let's pick on Jeff.
Yeah, good idea.
No, just kidding.
Yeah.
We'll get him.
Anyway,
I'm sure you could.
Okay, now getting back to the original point, I digress. We digress.
We have Taika Waititi to direct an animated Flash Gordon. Sure, I'm all for it. He did good for Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And had a good, cosmic Marvel vibe, so he'd be perfect for that, I think.
Well, it'd be interesting. I don't know why I keep feeling like if they're going to do an anime, like doing a PG-13 version of a heavy metal kind of feel to it.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe the crappy rotoscoped kind of heavy metal, but more of a stylized CG maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, not heavy metal 2000.
Well, okay. Here's the bet. Do you think they're gonna go CGI on this thing, or do you think they're gonna do actual? Of
course, it's gonna be CGI. Evan. They're not gonna break out the pencils and paper and make it cell drawn.
So you don't think they're gonna do
everything's on computers now, Ivan. No, it's not gonna be cells. Right?
Okay, well here's another thing that kind of gets me too. Speaking of movies,
it kind of gets you.
Okay,
what kind of gets you?
You that the Trolls, has got
the Trolls are making
movie.
A sequel.
Yes, and okay, my question is, why is it that the Rock thing is always the bad guy? There's always the bad music in so many different things. I mean, first off, it just kind of looks to me like a whole nother Avengers styling that they got. Our ancestors created 6 strings for 6 different kinds of music.
Oh no!
And the bad guys trying to assemble the 6 strings
on this musical lyre, Lyre,
and they're different colors of the rainbow.
It looks like a Torah, and he's got this map all out. And of course, the 6 strings: pop, techno, country, and then of course at the end, and rock. And then of course the character who does the rock troll, plus of course a hip hop troll. They got a hip hop troll who's all made out of glitter. I'm just like, oh shit.
So I'm not going to be seeing that. Ivan. I didn't see the first Trolls.
It's such a total ripoff of Avengers. It's almost alarming.
I have a better question. Why were you watching the preview for Trolls?
Trolls
2. I mean, you can't avoid commercials coming on social media. So you
scroll by.
Well, it intrigued me because I'm just like, I hear Ozzy Osbourne, on a guitar, and I'm like, oh, Ozzy Osbourne. I'm thinking I'm going to watch a clip, and then I turn and here's this little, troll all dressed in black with lace stocking, with fishnet stockings, and then woo, I'm going to destroy all music except rock. I'm just like, okay. And then I was reading the commentary underneath the postings, and I'm just like, everybody's just like, taking this thing apart. It's a ripoff of Avengers, all right? The 6 strings, the 6 Infinity Stones, and all this other shit.
Well, not gonna be seeing it.
Let me give those people a hint. If your 4-year-old wants to see it, guess what? You're going. I mean, that's the part I laugh about is they're all complaining about it. But if your 5-year little kid wants to go, your ass is there. That's all there is to it.
That's all there is to it. You're right about that. And the thing about it is, having the rock genre be the bad genre, but yet you're listening to the pop, which is auto-tuned, and you're listening to the techno, which is auto-tuned. Oh yeah, they put the country troll in a not even in a modern country context, almost like going back to Yodelay-hee-hoo, Appalachia.
Right. The country bumpkins, right.
Yes.
Why are we continuing to talk about
Ivan, if you're not, we get it. You're not going to see the fucking movie.
I'm not going to see the fucking movie. I'm just perplexed at the fact that how could they have come up with this? It's beyond me, you know. The Funk Guys. What did they do with the Funk Guys? Atomic Dog. Bow wow wow yippee. I'm like, really, people? Seriously?
How old are the people who watch Trolls?
They're children.
Right.
Yes, and I look at this and I'm like, we're dumbing down our kids. Oh boy.
Well, why?
It's just another movie that's going to be a box office flop, and it'll be on the DVD in a month and a half, or don't matter.
Right.
Yeah, for the $2 bin.
Yeah. Hey, I had to see Toy Story 4. I had to see all these animated trailers. They're making another freaking Angry Birds movie.
Why?
That movie made money.
I guess it did, but
why?
I heard it wasn't actually all that bad. I haven't seen it, but I heard people say it wasn't bad.
I haven't seen it.
Well, good luck. You're in luck. There's going to be another one. So.
I don't really want to see it. I wasn't really. That's on that list right with Frozen 2. Movies I'm not going to plan on seeing.
I'm never going to fucking see, right? So that's
it. At least with Toy Story 4, I'm done for a while. Oh, and, Jeff, I guess, real quick, you get your chance. Are you going to go see Endgame one more time with the extended footage?
Yes.
All right, I'm not doing it.
Yes, that's the plan.
No, I said my bladder. He's asking if you want to go with Mike because he wants to go see it again.
My bladder is done. I'm tapping out. I'll wait for the DVD in 2 months.
Well, but here's the difference. This time I know where I can walk out in the middle.
True. True.
Unlike last time. We were like, when can I pee?
Now you know. Okay, now I can pee. I got it.
Yes, exactly.
And as you get up, no, I can't go yet.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely. Now you. Oh yeah.
No, I saw it 3 times in the theater. I'm done.
Yeah. No, I understand.
I'll wait for the extended.
This would be my second screening. And that'll do it. You're not done going to the movies for the summer, sir.
Oh really?
No, you're not.
Oh, I got to see Spider-Man. That's in a week. Damn.
Right. What? You're not done. Then you're done.
Then I'm done. Then I'll be done. I got to show.
Then you're done.
Spider-Man's coming. They're saying some huge spoilers for Spider-Man Far From Home. So.
Did you hear about Did you hear about the people in Britain who were mad because I guess Tom Holland went on the Graham Norton show and was talking about how in Endgame. And yeah, by the way, recently, when I say recently, like within like the last week, apparently Tom Holland went on there and was, he has to get over the death of Iron Man. And there are people who are upset because they're like, you spoiled Endgame for me.
But
you haven't gotten to see it in months? Where are you living under a rock?
It's been out in Britain for how long?
It's like, you know what, if it takes you to see it, stop it. Just stop it. And then people complaining. I mean, people literally complaining about...
People complain about everything, so it don't matter. So.
Well, the only other thing was... this was the other thing that came out, that was been out, which is... I guess the Wachowskis are going to do a Matrix, and it looks like Michael B. Jordan is going to be the main star.
Okay.
So... I'm okay with this. I'm curious to see where it goes. Here's the only thing I would say is, if you're bringing in Michael B. Jordan, is it really only going to be one movie? Because I don't think it is.
No, it's going to be 2.
Well,
I don't know.
Maybe 3.
I never gave a shit about The Matrix.
The 2 movies afterwards were not very good.
Yeah.
They were not very good. First one... It grew on me, and part of the reason why I think I kind of see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I understand the sci-fi concept of it, but it's like, all right, no, I don't. Nah.
You know what the other problem is? After that, every movie copied like every Matrix fight scene.
Right,
and
with the bullet time and all that.
It almost became the butt end of a running visual joke.
Yeah, it was.
Like, even, like, I still remember like watching Charlie's Angels. And they're like doing like Matrix shit. And I'm like, why? It's Charlie's Angels. Why does it gotta look like the Matrix? What is this?
Yeah, well, you know how many times everybody's filmed that bending all the way back and letting the bullet pass them by in slow motion bit?
Yeah, but some of them have legitimately done it for legitimate things, not like as a joke, which is what it should be by that point. It's like, oh god.
Okay.
Yeah, but, you know.
No, sorry.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm not. He's a good actor. I'm curious to see if they really have something together to bring back the Matrix. I'm not against it. So that'd be interesting.
It'll be good for the fans of the franchise, but it's not for me.
Nah, me neither.
Like I said, I feel like they kind of after the made like a left turn. Since I saw the second movie, I'm like, I guess I'll see the.
No.
But yeah, okay. You know, I'm with you. I'm with you on some regards. I just think that's. Forgive me. Let me put it to you this way.
Huh.
If you ask me what I'd rather see, another Matrix or Avatar, I want to see another Matrix movie.
Screw Avatar.
Yeah, and and the worst part is we're going to have to spend every other winter dealing with another Avatar movie now.
I know.
Because that's the plan. The plan is Star Wars movie, Avatar movie, Star Wars movie, Avatar movie, Star Wars movie, Avatar movie. Like, oh god.
So they're gonna scatter them like that and expect to actually get attendance for these movies?
I don't know. I mean, in terms of like the first year would be a Star Wars movie. Like this year's a Star Wars movie, and then in theory next year would be. Well, I think they're taking a couple of years off this, but like when it starts up again, it would be like there's a Star Wars, and then there would be the next year would be an Avatar instead. And then the next year would be Star Wars, and then you'd have a year off from Avatar, and then there would be another Avatar movie the next following year.
Whatever.
Yeah,
okay, not waiting. Yeah. All right.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys, which is it's like, okay, I'm not feeling that.
James Cameron's waiting for 5K. Waiting for 3D and all that. Waiting for the technology to be so awesome. Nope. Yeah. Sorry, I don't care. I saw Avatar once in the theater back in the day, and I'm like, that's enough. I'm done.
Yeah, I was really not impressed as everybody else was. Now if the damn cat creatures came out and smacked me across the face with something, if you had that kind of 3D, okay, interested. But that doesn't exist, so. But thank God it doesn't, because then I'd have to fight a cat creature.
The blue smooth people?
Yeah. No, he'd be a blue smooth. That's
all right.
Well, I mean, this...
Well, so I suppose that'll do it, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, then till...
Ivan, you got anything going on this week?
Who? Me?
Yes,
no,
you, Ivan.
The other Ivan, okay. Well, no, it's because you blanked out. I didn't hear you who you were talking to. Okay. Well, this week, no, it's going to be actually a kind of a mellow week this week. The only thing I'm doing is my usual gig at the Electric Jungle. And then, really nothing until Saturday when I go do a wedding reception over at Loyola University, which that's going to be fun and very financially gratifying.
Wow.
And then let me see. Anybody got plans for 4th of July? I mean, are there any 4th of July plans formulating right now?
Nope.
Not yet.
I work on the 4th of July because I take Labor Day off. So yeah, I got to work this 4th. Okay. I don't care. Not do anything for special. But just Tuesday, July 2, the day after we record next week's show, I'll be seeing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I got to see if when I'm going to. But
I mean, yeah.
By the time we do our next show, I will have seen Jennifer.
Okay.
There you go.
She's in town at the United 3 nights, and believe it or not, my mom wanted to. Like,
okay.
Please twist my arms to go to J-Lo.
Well, tell Jenny from the block we're on YouTube and.
Yeah, really. I don't think I'm gonna get that close, Mike.
Yeah. We're on Anchor, J-Lo. We're on Anchor.
Yeah, really. I mean, I know her butt's pretty big, but we're not gonna get that close.
Yeah, I feel bad. I'm missing the Strings Attached tour from Weird Al.
Oh man,
you're
not going?
No, I'm not going to go. It's an outdoor venue this year, and I've had a family member go to Ravinia, and she talked to the general manager, and she said this has been a bad year for Ravinia because of so much rain and cold we've had this year.
Yeah, and Ravinia is it's a decent venue. It's like
a decent venue if you're watching orchestra music. It's a decent venue for like intimate artistry, like trios and
like that, but, it'd be nice just to get a cheap lawn seat, but I'd rather just
hello?
Hello.
Okay. Well, we're playing the hello game. All right, Mike, tell us how.
We are on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on social media, obviously that Facebook thingy. That's where we get all that some of our nerdy articles, and of course some funny news stories from Scott. Shout out to Scott. And you'll be hearing lots of his content from our News of the Squared later in the week. We appreciate you listening. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe. You'll know when new episodes drop. And, of course, we have the email as well. You can drop us a line there, sotrtpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Podbean and Anchor. Download the free apps, and you can listen wherever your mobile device will take you. So with that, I guess we done. We out. So thanks listening.
Thanks again for listening.
There you go.
Jeff and Ivan. Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys.
Thanks for stopping in.